Hello, hello, testing, testing. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me out there?
Yep.
Wonderful. Yep. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Women in ICT session at APNIC 50. My name is Sienna Perry and I am the moderator for today. I will shortly be handing over to the wonderful Afifa Abbas, who is our chair for the Women in ICT session, and a brilliant leader in our community who has volunteered a lot of her time and effort in activities like this. So thank you, Afifa. I will just remind you that there is a code of conduct, of course, that can be found on the APNIC 50 website, but also we'll be posting it in the chat. There will be time for questions today. In fact, questions and comments will absolutely be encouraged, and we'll tell you a little bit later when we open up the panel to the chat how to most effectively pose your questions. And so now I'd actually just like to hand over directly to Afifa. You there, Afifa?
Yes, Sienna. Can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you turn on your video, Afifa?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, Sienna, for this wonderful introduction. It is always overwhelming coming the words from your side. Good morning, everybody. This is Afifa Abbas from Dhaka, Bangladesh. A warm welcome to you all in the APNIC 50s virtual event and the Women in ICT session, which is very much close to my heart. And without further delay, I would like to, as Sienna stated, I'll be the chair of this event, of this session, and I'll be with you till the end of the session. And hopefully we are going to have some wonderful discussion. I'm really looking forward to hear from you all and your wonderful stories. So before I start, I'd like to ask the audience one question, and that is, do you know what makes a diamond? Or did you know that it takes pressure to create a diamond? Now, you all must be wondering, why am I asking this question out of the blue? Well, it is because, yes, some of you have guessed it right already. It is because this is the topic of our Women in ICT session today, which is, it takes pressure to create a diamond. You know what? Life hits us hard sometimes, right on our face. But the hit face a little harder when you are a woman. But the good news is that in our society, we have some wonderful women who manage, despite many adversities, who manage to struggle back and rise like a phoenix and shine bright like a diamond. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in this Women in ICT session, we will be discussing with our wonderful panel members that when they were under intense pressure, how did they manage to struggle back to become wonderful and stronger leaders, and how did they manage to handle the pressure, ultimately to become a diamond and to shine bright like a diamond. So aren't you all excited? Well, I'm super excited. So without a further delay, let's get started. So firstly, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Willa Ortiz. I can already see you, Willa.
Hi, Afifa.
How are you, Willa? It's a pleasure to have you as one of the panel members in our Women in ICT session.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so Willa, will you kindly introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, everyone. I'm Willa Ortiz. I'm a Senior Business Development Manager from HGC Global Communications. We're a fixed-line network operator in Hong Kong, but I'm based in the Philippines. I'm also handling Brunei, Australia, and the Pacific Islands. I'm also the co-chair of the Philippine Network Operator, or PHNOG, which is a nonprofit organization established to promote collaboration among network operators in the Philippines.
Thank you, Willa, for your wonderful introduction. For you, I have a question that from your introduction, I got to know you have been in this ICT industry for quite some time. And I know I totally relate that for a woman, the days are never smooth in ICT, working in ICT field. We have our blue days, we have our black days, we have stormy days, we have rainy days. Like it's always never smooth. So I would like to hear from you that your story of struggle from your personal experience, and how did you transform this struggle story into your success story, and how did you overcome everything, and what was your key learning from there that you like to share with the audience?
Thank you, Afifa. Yes, to answer the question, I would say that I've had my fair share of struggles growing up, and being the only daughter of a single mother definitely had its challenges, like financial constraints and not having a mom physically at home since she works 9 to 5. And that got me independent to be an independent at such a young age. I started working at 18 and entered the BPO industry. And I juggled between studying as a full-time student and working as a customer service representative. It was really the most grueling time for me, barely having any sleep and working at the night shift from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and then going to the university at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. plus doing homework and thesis in between. I mean, it was totally hectic. And when I look back at how I overcame those 3 years, I realized that if you want something that bad, it's really that grit, the ambition, and just really not ever wanting to give up that kept me going. It's as if failure was not an option. I was constantly like looking forward and focusing on the silver lining that this too shall pass. And with a lot of faith and prayers, was able to pull through. So that's also where I run my team. And even in difficult projects now, like every time there's a tight deadline or a difficult customer or a seemingly impossible project with limited to no solution in sight, I try not to focus on what's in front of me, but more on what's ahead. And even if I fail, like cliche as it may sound, I dust myself up and keep trying, keep going at it. Just recently, I actually lost a bid and I was filled with regret. I felt that I could have done something, or maybe I could have lowered the price. But despite the many what ifs and self doubt, I had to muster up the courage to not wallow on it and move forward. So I held on and kept offering solutions that would better fit the customer and really persisted. And thankfully, after a few weeks, the bandwidth traffic surge and they placed an order. So that was a big win for me. I guess what I'm saying is that no matter like how many closed doors or no's that we get in life, we just have to keep the faith and keep trying until we get a yes. And that's what matters.
Wonderful, wonderful sharing of your thoughts, Willa. I would like to note something from your speech that no matter how many doors are closed, you have to keep on trying, and you have to have the faith that today or tomorrow, the day will be yours entirely, right? So Willa, we will come back to you. Yeah, we will come back to you during the question and answer session. So before I move on to our next speaker, there is something I would like to mention, that APNIC always tries to introduce something new in each of their conferences. And we are already experiencing it, right? I mean, it is although called a virtual event, but to me, it doesn't seem like a virtual event. It seems so real. So like this, probably for the very first time in Women in ICT session, we are having one male speaker because we believe we need to have a men's perspective for women in ICT. And we also do believe at the same time, neither women nor men can flourish in the ICT industry without the support of each other. So along with Vicky, who is our next speaker, I would like to thank all the men attendees today. Your active participation basically illustrates that you do support women's contribution and diversity in ICT industry. Thank you so much again. So with that note, I would like to introduce our first and second speaker, Vicky. So Vicky, now that I have made you famous and you are like a little twist of our event today, very special. People are curious to know about you more. So will you kindly introduce yourself?
Sure, sure. Firstly, thanks so much, Afifa and Sienna, for giving me this opportunity to be one of the panelists. And I'm, exceptionally happy that I'm the first male speaker in this event. So really, really honored here. So a bit of background about myself. I'm a principal researcher, working for Palo Alto Networks. I work in the threat intel team called Unit 42. We are a global arm. We some of the primary objectives is we focus on cybercrime and targeted cyber attacks, and we try to kind of share our research and work widely. We do a lot of outreach where we enable search in the region. I personally lead the Unit 42 team in Asia Pacific. So kind of running the operations in terms of how can we share all that intel and research with CERTs and many other organizations so to benefit themselves. So of course, a lot of that work gets into the product and our customers are benefited. But yeah, we do a lot of work where our main goal is to make cyber safer each day at a time. So that's the main goal. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is the background basically from which we are connected together since from APNIC 42. Great to hear from you, Vicky, for this nice introduction. And my question to you would be a little bit different. So I will not be asking the traditional question that I'll be asking to all the women because it is still relevant, but a little bit different. And that is, Vicky, as I said, that we need to know a man's perspective. So why do you think the diversity and having more women in ICT is important? And the second question is, did you personally, I'm sure you work with many women in your community at your workforce and also within the APAC region. So anybody who personally inspired you from their struggle and their story, and did you ever stretch your hand to support any women in order for them to shine like bright?
Absolutely. Those are really very important questions and very close to what we have been trying to do within our organization and at the same time, externally. So the first question you asked about the importance of diversity and inclusion. And I feel it's something which is very important for all industries, especially ICT. Yes, because, when we look at our industry in general, there are not it's a predominantly male dominated industry. When we look at ICT, yes, things have changed really for the better in the past, like half a decade or probably 10 years. But I think there's still a long way to go. And these kind of platforms you all are, coming up with, it's going to encourage that. So, of course, when we look at the importance, when we see that when we look at industries where there is not a diverse kind of culture, whether it is from a culture perspective or whether it is from a woman or men perspective, the innovation from those industries will lack at certain point of time. Because when we look at individuals with diverse backgrounds, experiences, of course, when we look at the start, there will always be some hindrances because as human beings, we are more comfortable with our own type of people or people who thinks the same manner. We are always, as it's just a human nature that we are in that comfort zone. But when we come out of that comfort zone and then we are more appreciative or accepting of the differences of others, and then once we start collaborating, the impact we can make is exceptional. It is just like it's so phenomenal that we couldn't have even imagined where these kind of diversity and the type of collaboration can take us to. So it is something which I have experienced firsthand, and without getting into too much details, I would say that when we have people from diverse backgrounds, and I noted it earlier about experiences, and when we share it, whether it's we are trying to solve a problem or whether we are trying to create something new, all those ideas matter a lot, right? So for me, this is my perspective of looking at certain challenges and why those that the diversity of men and women and also different cultures, it's equally important, right? So that is the first part. Of course, I don't have to, I can go on and on the benefits of it, but I'm going to keep it a bit short. The other question you raised about is the people, are there women who have inspired me? Absolutely. I mean, there are so many, I mean, right from the start of my career, there, when we looked at cyber, of course, that were, I'm going to focus more on the cyber side of things, the cyber security, where I saw people who are amazing, especially from people who were kind of experienced. At the same time, they were women. I mean, and I don't want to be too biased because I'm going to name some individuals who I work with day to day, but at the same time, there are individuals who are in the industry whom I've never met, but they have been very, I mean, I've looked up to their work quite a bit. And just to name some people, I would say Alison Nixon. Some people may have heard of this name, but if you're not aware of this inspiring lady, you should look her work, because she has been fighting cyber criminals across the globe and kind of working with law enforcement. And a lot of her research has tremendously impacted the work we all do, right? So Alison, right at, I really admire her work. Jen Miller Osborne, she has been my colleague, and now she's my boss, and she's been very inspiring. So I work for a lady now. So it's, Jen's background has been phenomenal. She used to work for a non-profit organization, research firm, and then a lot of their projects was amazing in the cyber domain. And when she came to work for Palo Alto Networks, I always was so keen to work and learn from her. And now she's my boss, so it's amazing. Then I would also name a few more individuals like Ruchna Nigam. If you just check her up, she has been finding a lot of amazing IoT threats, new threats. It's inspiring how she's able to track all these botnets together. So it's amazing. So that, I mean, there are countless number of women. I mean, if I don't name any, I apologize, but these are the first names who are coming, and 5 minutes is not enough to really name all of them. But yeah, lots of individuals. In fact, I would name Kyla Guru. She is just a teenager based out of US, but she gave a keynote last year at Asia Pacific, RSA APEC. And she's just a teenager. She has started her own firm, and it's on education, cyber education. So it's amazing. The last one I would like to highlight, and maybe, about a lady, her name is Dilruba Malik. She's from Bangladesh, actually, same place as you are, Afifa. So she and her family moved to US. And I'm taking too much time here. This is the last statement.
No, it's okay. Totally fine.
So Dilruba went to US with her family when she was very young, but she worked, she didn't even, she was not even able to probably speak fluent English, but she graduated from a top university. Now she's a manager in our company, and it's phenomenal. Like, I've not met her, but I heard her story and I was so impressed, and also inspired by. And as you said about the same topic, like it needs pressure or to make a diamond, right? So it's amazing. So there's n number of examples I could take, but I'm inspired by so many individuals. Inspired at the same time, I learn every day. So, and I'm not saying this just because, okay, I've been invited, but I truly, think that it is the diversity is very important. Like, I've given talks at schools and universities, and a lot of times I don't see. Sometimes I think that students, especially girls, they may think that this is a male-dominated area, but this is something which we need to change, and we need to have these heroes. Not somebody. And it's important that we have the right heroes. Like, there's so many skilled and capable women out there, and we want them to be the role models. So yeah, sorry I took too much of your time here.
Wonderful, wonderful, Vicky. The reason you took too much time because it shows the how much passionate you are about regarding having more women in ICT industry, right? So I got hooked totally. I'm sure our audience also got hooked. But since we have time constraints, we won't be able to we need to move on to our next speaker. Before moving on, I would like to say to the audience that we have the APAC mailing list for women. So Sienna will be kind enough to post the link of that mailing list in chat box so you can always subscribe. And feel free to ask questions in our Q&A panel. So thank you again, Vicky. I will come back to you in the question answer session. So I would like to introduce our next speaker, and she is from Dhaka, Bangladesh. She is indeed an inspiring figure for the entire nation. The amount of achievements she has within the short span of her career is truly remarkable. So without further delay, I would like to invite Atiya Nila to take the virtual floor and kindly introduce yourself.
Thank you, Afifa, for this opportunity and especially inviting me and suggest my name in Ethnic 50. Really grateful to you. I am Atiya Nila, founder Women in Digital. I'm running a tech company, the full women force. And the interesting thing is we are working in technology only for the women, and our main motto is women empowerment through technology. So we are working in the rural area, we are working in the urban area, and we are arranging so many competitions, so many things in for the women. And most important thing is we are running a offshoring company in Bangladesh, led by all 25 women engineers. So, and we are working for the international countries like USA, Canada, and Japan market, and Australian market. And beside this, we are trying to promoting our girls in different companies. And this is actually all about women in digital. And we actually, the women in digital, we always believe we can empower a girl when she will be the financial empowered. So we are trying to make them financial empowered through technology.
Thank you, Atiya Nila. We are having some wonderful comments coming up in the chat box. Thank you all for your wonderful comments. So from your introduction, Atiya Nila, we got to understand that you have built an empire right from the scratch. And I can totally imagine it was never easy. You must have been faced so many difficulties, some of which I can totally guess, but some of which we do not have any idea about that we want to hear from you today. So my question to you would be, to build this empire, what are the problems that you faced? How did you overcome that? And what was that key motivating factor that kept you moving and reach where you are today?
Thank you, Afif, again. I have started this journey, women in digital journey is 2013. So why I started this one? Before that, I was working as a software engineer in some multinational companies. So in that time, I have faced one interesting and common problem, that is women are not able to do coding. So as a CSC graduate, so I am not able to take it very easily, and it always hurts my ego, because I believe if I can become an engineer, of course I need to do some coding. So why they are ignoring me in the day one? So I always try to prove myself in these offices, and I promise myself when I will be promoted as a CTO in any company, and in that time I will quit the Bangladeshi job, because I was thinking maybe this is the Bangladeshi culture. But day by day I have seen, no, it's not in Bangladeshi culture, it's the global problem. So I think, okay, as a women engineer, I should do something at least for Bangladeshi girls, and if I can, maybe globally. Then I start teaching some girls. Initially, I start myself improving, and I proved, yes, I am a programmer and I can do anything if you can give me. And after that, I start teaching girls and trying to some job in online. Like in that time, Odex was very popular in as a job marketplace. So I collect job from over there and I give to the girls. And when I have seen they are able to doing the coding and they are able to complete the project, and in that time I get some confident. Actually, if I try, and maybe I will able to do that. So I start teaching and giving them the jobs. This is the way I have started. So the thing is, in that time, actually, I was a bit confused because maybe I will going for my high study in USA. I was applied for a scholarship. I get that one. But in that time, in my home, there is an interesting discussion. My father and his friend, and they are talking about digital Bangladesh. And suddenly, this name called digital Bangladesh is clicked my head, and I just entered in their conversation. I say denied them, and they was happy about this declare, and they was thinking is they now Bangladesh will be changed. Everything will be technological things happening in Bangladesh. They are thinking very big things, and in that time I informed my father, it's not possible in Bangladesh because there are 50% are women and they are not digitally literate. Then how can you think digital Bangladesh will happening? So and then my father said, well, you are engineer, you can take the initiative. So then I started actually working seriously working on that, and I denied my scholarship and start to work from the sketch. I start from Dhaka, and then I'm going to the rural Bangladesh, and I established some schools over there, take a school. So we teach the codings and the graphics things, the girls, and they are working in our agencies. And the thing is, actually, when I started it and when I start promoting it, I start 2013, but I start promoted in 2015 because of when some friends and family member are knowing about my thinking, everybody start laughing on me. They think, why you are doing this? It's not possible because we are a poor country, we are developing country. How you think there is so many, you can make some coder in Bangladesh, they will develop big software for the industry. It's not possible. But I never give up. People are thinking it's not possible, but I think it is possible. And in 2017, I arranged a national hackathon for women in Bangladesh, and we bring 1,500 girls from all over the Bangladesh in Dhaka city. So that one actually, then people start trust on us. Before this one, we have arranged another event that is Digital Innovation Challenge for Women. So that one also clicked, but that one is the 250 girls, 350 girls. And every year we are arranging that one, but the limited girls are coming in that program. But when we start hackathon, the scenario changed, extremely changed the scenario in Bangladesh. People are start trusting on us, and the interesting thing is now people are showcasing our company in different places because there are all women engineer working together and all women actually working together. So people think it's really something different. And this is the way actually we are working, and now in Bangladesh. And in 2018 we have started another branch is Nepal. The same model we replicated it. So now my plan is we start it in Bangladesh, and if possible I will go to the globally. So there are so many struggles. So I think I always think one thing, if I didn't face any challenge, I never try to overcome that challenge. So when any challenges come in front of me, I take it's the opportunity for me because I get chance to solve the problem. So I never give up. And that nowadays the interesting thing is my team, my girls are also something like that. They are never facing when they're facing any problem, they just ignore that problem because they need to do the quality coding for the international client, and they make something good for country.
Wow, wow. Very inspiring. Atiya Nila, you have sacrificed your scholarship in order to contribute back to the community. This is something wonderful. And you came forward, took the lead to create an impact within the region. This is amazing, Atiya Nila. We don't really see much people like you, especially the culture we have in South Asia for women. This is really, really inspiring. And also one thing that you mentioned, I totally agree with that. I also used to think is that the problem regarding women, it's only the Asian thing, but it's not. It's actually a global problem. It's a universal problem. These women in ICT sessions are being held in North America as well, because it's the problem over there as well. So yes, people are commenting that yes, having more women in the community should be normal. We should not talk about it much probably, but yes, I also envision for that day when we will not have to talk about it much and it will be like a new normal. But since we are yet to get there, so why not discuss about it? Because I have also been to many places when I was the only woman in the cloud of many men. So yeah, we need to change that. And that is why we are all here to discuss about it. Thank you so much, Atiya. Thank you so much. And with that note, to continue with the session, I'm so happy that our next speaker is with us already. Nataran Seg. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Will you kindly unmute your microphone and introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's very nice to participate in this session. This is for me the first time. I prepared a short presentation. I wanted to share my biography with you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I just want to share my biography with you. Okay.
Okay.
May I present my?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. How to?
Share? Or probably Nataran said probably you can just verbally let us know about your biography. That would also do if you're having troubles.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In that case, I just okay. Now you can see.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Yes, we can see.
Okay.
So Nataran Seg, along with your introduction, my question to you would be to share your story of struggle in the community and how did you manage to overcome that? Thank you.
But first of all, I wanted to share my short biography. Maybe it's interesting for you because Mongolia, information technology is developing in Mongolia last few years, last 10 years, I can say. So,
okay, please go ahead.
Okay. You can see here is my life and career path. It's not linear. There are many times a curve. So let's start my short biography. First of all, I wanted to I was born in 1968. So you can see I'm an ancient person. When I was a child, I loved to play outside. Especially, I like to play football with boys. But at the same time, I liked math and physics. When I graduated the high school, I didn't know what's in the future whom I will be. But at that time, there was no internet, no computer. We didn't see computer in our country. Didn't use computer almost. Didn't use computer almost. So I didn't choose my profession consciously. I just wanted to become a woman engineer. That's all for me. After, of course, I studied. I became a student. First, I studied and graduated the engineer and economic school in Leningrad. This is in Russia. So I speak Russia too. At that time, I studied together with other students from other countries like Ethiopia, Bulgaria, Vietnam, from Africa too, from France, like that. At this economic school, I studied information processing. After graduation, I came in Mongolia to my country. At that time, the first computer science school was established just. So I entered that school, and I, in 1994, graduated the Computer Science and Management School of Mongolian University of Science and Technology, and I became an for software engineer. This is my first profession. After I entered my first job. My first job was a teacher. I taught computer to children. During this time, I gave birth to my daughter. Also, I worked at my cafe. For teacher, the summertime, the summer vacation is around 3 months. So I wrote a program for my company for Hungarian Children's Palace. After this is my picture. Yeah, this is in 1995. You can see here the computer are XT and AT computers. XT computers hadn't hard disk. It just can work from floppy disk. We wrote everything on floppy disk and load to the computer from floppy disk. This is a history picture. After working, I wanted to reform. So I started studying CCNA, Cisco. The Cisco Regional Academy in Mongolia at that time was worked. So I entered the CCNA course and I became a network engineer. This is my second profession. From 2001, I worked as a network engineer at the Erdenet ISP. This is a ISP company which is providing internet service for educational organizations. After I continued to study. I studied for CCNA instructor, and I became a Cisco instructor, and I started teaching Cisco CCNA classes for universities. Okay. After I started to work at STX CityNet ISP company. This is the biggest ISP company in Mongolia, which has a big.
Hello, Naren. We are a little bit a shortage of time. After this, we need to hear your story. So can you please fasten things up?
Okay. Okay, a few words for my company. STX CityNet is the biggest ISP company which built a metropolitan area network. It is a city. This is my network. Here I work as technical manager. First I work at network admin, after technical manager, and now I'm working here as a CTO. And that's my short story. This is my colleagues. This is my short story. Thank
That's
you.
that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Naran Setsek, for taking us to your virtual life. It was very inspiring, and we have seen the transformation, how you started learning CCNA, then teaching CCNA. That's great. So, jumping out directly to the question, can you please share your struggle story with us? And after your speech, we have to take the Q&A, and would really appreciate if you can quickly do it, probably within 2 to 3 minutes.
Also, working at the big ISP companies, we had many troubles, many problems, but we how to say,
All good from your side?
Yeah. Of course, we successfully deal with all the problem with our team. It's teamwork is very important, and every team member should every team member's development is very important. I think I'm not alone. If by alone, I cannot deal any problems. So I think the teamwork is very important, and team members' development is very important, I think. And how to say? And to offer quality service, we have to maintain our network, our equipment reliably. So reliability and on-time support is very important, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, Naran Setsek. Inspiring. So we're having done with your speech. Probably we can take the Q&A. Our audiences are asking some wonderful question for our panel members. So I would like to start with the question from Amrita Chaudhary. Since many women in ICT drop off after a couple of years, and even today there are very few women leaders, my question to all the speakers is, what do you think can be the best way for women leaders to mentor and handhold freshers and newcomers, especially women in ICT? So I would like Willa to answer this question first.
Thank you, Asika. I think the best way is really, spending time to mentor, whether that's through personal sessions or coaching. I think it's important for women leaders to really build the relationship with their juniors, and pass on sort of like a legacy. So I think that's the best way.
Thank you, Willa. Vicky, any thoughts on it?
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a very important question. I think this doesn't, especially being a woman, I feel like the odds are, it could be construed by a woman that the odds are against them more. But actually, when we look at it, even from my perspective as a guy, there are times that, when we think that, a lot of things which we do may not be getting fruits, for example, right? So it's important to be really persistent. And if we improve our own skills, no matter what, eventually, I think you highlighted and Willa highlighted earlier, that you will achieve what you are going to go for, right? But persistence is important. Every time, all of us feel disheartened sometimes, right? So it's just a matter of time. Let the phase go, but be persistent, and eventually you'll get it. So,
Yes.
I
Yes.
think it's that's what I would say.
Yeah, I can't agree more on this, Vicky. Very nicely stated. Next speaker, Atiya Nila, can you share your expression on this question?
Actually, I believe one thing that is we are women and we dropped out. We have so many struggle. It's a common thing nowadays, and it's a common from when I think women born in this world in that time. So we always facing so many problems. But the thing is, as women, I where I want to showcasing me or where I want to see myself. So I need to think that thing first. So if I am able to inspire me, then nobody able to inspire me. Only I can inspire myself. So if I want to become a women leader or take women, so only I can inspire myself. So I am agree with Vicky. So we need to increase our skills. We need to learn new things. So I think that is where we can overcome all the problem. But I am a woman. I have so many problems. If we are talking this thing several times, but does not create actually anything in our life. So we need to
Right.
always improving our skills, and of course the focus where I want to show myself and work for that.
Yes. Yes, very well said, Achi and Nila, that we cannot use our gender as an advantage, right?
Yeah.
We have to be competitive enough to fight to sustain in the community. And yes, that is something I always I do believe very strongly. Our next question is from Farhadiba. I would like to read this out. As a woman, have you ever experienced that you are better than male co-worker but haven't appreciated because of being a woman? Nice question, by the way, Farha. I'm looking forward to the answers. So I would like to go, probably Narat Setsek, would you like to answer the question?
Okay. Of course, there are sometimes women are better than women engineer is better sometimes better than the men because women are uh, sh- women are neat. They very they how to say in English. Women are very
Yes,
accurate, very
right.
accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Thanks,
And
Narat Sek.
mhm.
Yeah. So I think Achia Nila, this question is very much relevant to you because you work with both of them. So yeah, sometimes what happens that today basically we are not discussing about who is better. Is men is better and women is better. There is no question on that. What we are discussing is that appreciating women in the ICT industry. So what Farha stated today very nicely, that sometimes what happens that we put the equal effort, but just because we are women, we are not being appreciated equally. So what would be your thought on this, Atiya Nila?
The thing is actually in my life there's an incident I was working in a multinational company for a long time, and I always doing good and they are giving me so many appreciation, but they didn't change my designation. It means I didn't get promotion. So suddenly I just invited for a meeting with the MDs and other team members, and I informed them why I am not getting any promotion, but I am getting very much smart salary expect of Bangladesh, but why I'm not getting any promotion. And that now my boss informed me, Lila, see, you are a woman, and our company is 24/7. So if I promoted you as a manager or CTO, but I can promote you because you need to stay overnight at the office, and as a woman, you are not able to do that. So I didn't say anything. I just noted that point. And after a few days, I know they are depend on me and they will be dependent on me. So I prove myself like that way. And after a few days, when Windows 8 is launching, I lead that project. So for that project, we getting very short times from the Microsoft, and when we developing the things, uh, 3 days I was in office, and after 3 days, when I complete the project and get a very good appreciation from the boss. And of course, they are always giving us so many money as a gift money when we done any project. So I denied to take that money. And I inform him, see, I don't need the money because I need now prestigious things for in my life. And the thing is, I am capable to do this. And do you know, last 3 days I was in office and he don't know he even don't know that I was in office. So actually, sometimes we need to raise our voice. Otherwise, nobody help us. I know in Bangladesh and different countries, girls are really doing good in the coding and technical things, but they are doing and they are getting frustrated when they are not promoted like this type of small issues. Then they quit the job. But I think we should raise our voice. Yes, we need to prove ourselves and also raise our voice. But and when they think and when they see our output, then they will of course appreciate it. But the thing is, we need to raise our voice. So
Yes, very true.
yeah, this is 20th century.
I can totally relate this with Atiya Nila, what you have just said, because speaking up, I think that is something which is keeping us a little bit behind. We are very much shy to speak up, probably the fear we have also. But that is something we need to overcome. We need to speak up. And Vicky, you said your boss is a lady, which is very good to know. So I think this question is not applicable to you, but would you please?
Yeah, absolutely. I was dying to give my perspective on this because even though it is not applicable from, for me, I feel, there are so many times women, and it's not that comparison. I think many times we have already discussed that it shouldn't be this men and women comparison because that, it doesn't result, a lot of times there are other arguments which come out of these kind of comparisons. But yes, I mean, when there is a obvious a bias where a performance has not been acknowledged well by a male senior or whoever, right? Or maybe even a counterpart, and there has been a lot of effort done by a lady, but it is not acknowledged or not appreciated. And that happens a lot. I see it on Twitter. I see it on many discussions. And I feel my view is the people who are insecure about themselves don't acknowledge it. The people who acknowledge it are the real leaders, whether it's for men or women's side, but they are going to appreciate the lady or the effort done by whoever it is, and then make her gain more success. That's the right way to look at as a leader. But the people who are insecure about themselves, who can't see a lady take a lead, those are probably the losers. And also, it is a trait by people who are not confident enough on their own abilities. That's why we see something. So I just want.
You know what, Vicky, you said the exact words that I wanted to listen. The insecurity, the vulnerability. It's so real. I mean, I almost every day face them without any reason, right? When somebody is after you without any reason, there must be something. And what is that something? The thing that you just stated nicely. Thank you. So Vicky, we have one more question for you. Probably I'll come back to you after taking the next one. That question is from Anthony Vaccaro. My girlfriend is working as an iOS developer and we are considering having children in next few years. Can any panelists share their thoughts around balancing career or family life, especially in the first year or two of being a mother? I think this is very much relevant to Willa. Willa, would you kindly answer that?
Well, I am not a mother yet, but I think, it's important to balance career and family life. It will be a matter, I think, of time management, and if the girlfriend of Anthony will be more like assertive, maybe in asking for permission with their bosses. If for sure, family life will take like a priority. So I think it's important to be transparent and share the situation. And it's a matter of priority.
Yes. So Anthony, I am not a mother itself yet, but probably I can suggest one thing for you. But it is when I will get married, probably the expectation that I will have from my husband would be during the first 2 years within the being a parent. I would need an extensive or extended support from my husband itself, so that when I am working, probably my husband will be taking care of the baby. So it has to be the balanced teamwork, and the best support comes from the family itself. That's what I do believe from the core. So when a family member supports, everything starts to fall into places altogether. So yeah, so the big support is you, Anthony. I hope it answered the question. So Vicky, I have another question for you from Amrita Chaudhary. What are the ways in which men can support women in ICT?
Yeah. So I think again, it's not whenever I look at these questions or the perspectives, I look at it from people who all need help, like for interns, for example, people who are starting their own career. So I would always say that, if we are already in a position to be able to help, we handhold, as we covered it earlier, that we need to, as people who have been in the industry, we need to show them how how they can succeed in their careers. And the other thing is, a lot of times when I look at it from my industry, when we look at cyber, I've seen I mentioned it briefly earlier, that I don't see a lot of women having a lot of interest in this field earlier, but as I see a
Yes.
lot of people are now keen interested. It's just that as leaders or as people who have been in the industry, how can we ignite that passion or ignite that interest in whatever field? But for us, there are various ways. I mean, we should be training. We should do a lot of pro bono training. We should be more involved with these kind of platforms. Again, somebody said that it shouldn't be compared. Women and men should be equal, but at the same time, these platforms are essential, like women in ICT or women in cyber. It is important because that the difference is still there, right? So
Yeah.
whether it is training or whether it is having a separate platform to highlight the right performance, because there would still be individuals in the society or in the community where there is bias, right? So we
Yes.
have to all agree that there is an implicit bias. It is there, right? We have to understand what is that bias or what is that implicit bias. Even if we don't acknowledge it openly, there may be some kind of subconscious bias here and there, and we need to understand it is there, acknowledge it, and discuss it in these platforms so that everyone is more aware, and find these solutions. So there are so many different ways. I mean, again, training and sharing it and discussing it openly is very important.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vicky. And I would like to thank all the panel members. We are at the end of the discussion. So before ending, I would like to summarize few of the points that you all stated. Willa said, failure is not an option. We have to focus on the silver lining. Point to be noted. Vicky said that when we have diversity, we have multiple colors to play with. When two colors gets mixed, we have a whole new color, and that is unique. Atiya Nila mentioned that she is helping to create 25 little diamonds. And she, at the same time, she mentioned how she's contributing to create a digital Bangladesh. And Nataran Seng mentioned that teamwork is very important. So we are at the end of this discussion. I'd like to thank all the panel members. You know what? Everything's come to an end, and every good things come to an end a little quicker. So does the Women in ICT session. I really wish I could discuss about it on and on and on. So the discussion that we started today, let it flow beyond this virtual room till forever. And there is, I'll be signing off saying this one last thing, that we need more diamonds in the ICT industry, right? And in order to create a diamond or to make yourself a diamond, we need to know how to sustain the pressure and not to give up. And whenever you feel that the life is getting harder, then always remember it is only because you are about to become a diamond very soon and shine bright. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sienna.
Afifa, thank you so much. I think we should nominate you for, I don't know, Madam Chair of the UN or something like that. Your inspiring words are just brilliant. And I think a lot of people will take heart at what you've said, all of the panelists, because as you said, sometimes it feels pretty dark and lonely. So knowing there's a support group out there of other people cheering each other on is really important. So on that note, I really would encourage everyone to join the APAC ICT Women at apnic.net email list. It's we'll put it in the chat in a second. What we do there is it's open to everyone, and we share job opportunities, fellowship opportunities, interesting research, a whole range of different things. And it's really our way of trying to create a virtual support network for people in, particularly women, but also men in the ICT industry. So I'd just like to quickly say as well that the NRO Number Council NC elections the voting closes in 17 minutes. So if you haven't yet voted and you're eligible, please do so. All of the information about eligibility and the process is on the APNIC 50 website. Again, thank you all for contributing. We've had a brilliant feedback from the participants as well as everyone in the watching at home. Please do share a selfie of yourself on Twitter or Facebook, #APNIC50, and give us a session rating to let us know how we went. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.